ዛሬ የሶላር ኢክሊፕስ እየተከናወነ ይገኛል። የአላሁ ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ ቀድር ሶላር ኢክሊፕስ ማለት ፀሐይ በጨረቃ የተሸፈነችበት ሁኔታ አሁን ፒኩን ነው የምናየው። ይሄ ዋናው 87% የሸፈነችበትን ሁኔታ ነው። ይሄ ዙሪያውን እንደምትመለከቱት ትንሽ የፀሐይ ብርሃን ይመጣል። ቀን ነው ሰዓቱ። አሁን ወደ 3:17 ፒኤም ነው እዚህ ዋሽንግተን ዲሲ ላይ ከሰዓት ነው። በዚህ ሰዓት ብርሃን ፀሐይ ፏ የምትልበት ሰዓት ነው። ነገር ግን በዳመና በመሸፈኗ የተነሳ በጨረቃ በመሸፈኗ የተነሳ እንደምታዩት ሆና እናያታለን ማለት ነው። ይህ አላህ ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ ክስተት ነው። ማሻአላ ተመልከቱ። እንግዲህ ሌላው ምንድነው ማሳሰቢያ የምንነግረው ክለጽር ካልሆነ በሱ መመልከቱ ልታረጉ በዚሁ አጋጣሚ እናሳስባለን። መጠንቀቅ ያስፈልጋል። ያ ፒኩን ኦልሬዲ ፒኩን አይተን እየወረደ የሚሄድበት ሁኔታ ይገኛል። ማሻአላህ ማሻአላህ መመልከት ትችላላችሁ። ይህ እጅግ በጣም የሚገርም ነገር ነው። ዳመና ታዩት ነው። በቀጥታ በአይን ማየት አይቻልም ብለናል። ይሄው ጨረቃን ይዋት። ጨረቃ ይህን ትመስላለች። ሱብሃንአላህ እየተንቀሳቀሰች ትገኛለች ማለት ነው። ግርዶሹን ሸፍና ይሄው አሁን ከፀሐይ እልፍ ብላ ግርዶሹን የምትንቀሳቀስበት ሁኔታ ነው የሚገኘው። ኦኬ ማሻአላህ 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 ሱብሃንአላህ። ተመልከቱ እንግዲህ እጅግ በጣም የሚገርም ነው ያላህ ነገር። እነዚህ ፀሐይንና ጨረቃን አንድ ላይ ያላህ ሲያገናኝ በተለያዩ አመታት መካከል ነው እንደዚህ ነገሮች የሚከሰቱት። ኦኬ እስቲ ኢክሊፕስን በቁርአን ምን ይመስላል የሚለውን እንመልከት። ቁርአን ላይ አላህ ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ ምን ይላል ስለ ኢክሊፕስ? ኦኬ ኢክሊፕስ ላይ አላህ ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ ፕሮፊት ሙሐመድ ሰለላሁ ዐለይሂ ወሰለም ፕሮፊት እንዳሉት the sun and the moon do not eclipse because of the days of someone from the people, but they are two signs among the sign of Allah. When you see them, stand up and pray. አንዳንድ አካባቢዎች የፀሐይ ግርዶሽ የሚከሰተው ታዋቂ ሰው ሲሞት ምናምን የሚሉበት ሁኔታ አለ። ይህ እንግዲህ ትክክል እንዳልሆነ ነው። ይህ የሚሆነው አንዱ የአላህ ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ ክስተት ነው። ኦኬ ብርሃን አላህ ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ ብርሃንን ከጨለማ ልክ እንደሚያፈራርቀው ሁላ ፀሐይንና ጨረቃን አንድ ላይም በማድረግ እንደዚሁ ኢክሊፕስ እንደሚያደርግ አላህ ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ እያሳወቀን ይገኛል። ያ ነው እንጂ ሌላ ነገር እንዳልሆነ ተናግረዋል ማለት ነው። ናው በእስልምና ኢክሊፕስ ማለት ምንድነው? ኢትስ ፎር ሙስሊም ሶላር ኢክሊፕስ ኢዝ አ ኮል ቱ ፕሬይ። በቃ ይሄ ልክ እንደ አዛን ነው። አሁን እናቶቻችን 2 ረካ ሰግደዋል። ለኛ ኢትስ አ ኮል ቱ ፕሬይ ነው። ለሙስሊም እንደ አዛን ማለት ነው። አዛን አሁን አዛን ተብሏል። ማሻአላ መስገድ ነው። ሪማይንደር ኦፍ ዘ ማይት ኦፍ አላህ ያለው ሱብሃነሁ ወተዓላ ምልክቶችን የሚያሳይ ነው። እና ታይም ቱ ዲስፔል ሱፐርስቲቱሽን አሶሲየትድ ዊዝ አስትሮኖሚካል ኢቨንትስ ከተለያዩ አስትሮኖሚካል ኢቨንቶች ጋር ያሉ ሱፐርስቲቱሽኖችን የምናቆምበት ነው ማለት ነው። ሱብሃንአላህ። ስለዚህ ኢትስ አ ኮል ቱ ፕሬይ። አሁን በቀጥታ ይሄንን ላይቭ ስትሪም ላይ አስቀምጠነው 2 ረካ ሱና እንሰግዳለን። አዛን ነው። አዛን ሰምታችሁ ዝም አትሉ ማለት 2 ረካ ሱና ይሰገዳል። ስለዚህ ወደዛ ነው የምንሄደው። ጥሪ ነው። ሱብሃንአላህ ጥሪ ነው። ኢትስ አ ኮል ቱ ፕሬየር ነው። ስለዚህ በያላችሁበት 2 ረካ ሱና በመስገድ ምላሽ መስጠት አለባችሁ። አላህ ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ ያፈራርቃል። ቀንንም ማታንም ብርሃንንም በዚህ መልኩ አላህ ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ ያፈራርቃል ሚል ያለው ሱብሓነሁ ወተዓላ ለኛም ሰው ንገረኝ እኮ የሚጣ ቢዝባና አሁን ኢንሻአላህ ተባረክ አስተግፍሩላህ 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 ማሻአላህ። በዚህ መልኩ እንግዲህ ሁለት ረካ ሰግደናል። ሱብሓነላህ እጅግ በጣም የሚገርም ነው። we just pray 2 raka here because eclipse for Muslim solar eclipse is a call to prayer. It's a reminder of the mighty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's a time to dispel any superstition associated with astronomical events. Subhanallah, subhanallah. So just completed the 2 rak'ah inshallah. So if anyone is watching it and if you are around the Washington area or anywhere that touches, so you have to pray 2 rak'ah. Subhanallah, it's so amazing. And again, it's recommended that it's not allowed to watch the eclipse directly by your eye unless you use the recommended eyeglass, because the eye watching directly the sun could damage your eye. And let's talk about back in the days. The story was that there was a story. Whenever you see this eclipse, you have to pray and invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there was a story after the death of Prophet Muhammad son Ibrahim alayhi salam. When Ibrahim sallallahu alayhi wasallam, so Prophet Muhammad's son Ibrahim died long ago, the companion tried to comfort him by saying that the sun eclipse due to the greatness of the laws. Okay, so they say that, but that's not the case. This is just the event. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring the night and the day in a similar way, so you don't need to consider it in another way. Okay, now Prophet Muhammad encouraged us to remember and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, specifically when you see an eclipse, right? When you see eclipse, you have to remember Allah and also pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inviting us to display to worship with him, you know, the mosque until the cosmic event passed. Now this cosmic event, the peak is already passed. Like I said, the peak was happened about 15 minutes ago here in local time, 3:15 p.m. Now it's 3:27. The peak is already passed. Now it's almost going down and down. You see that the moon, I'm going to make it a little more closer, okay, so you can see the moon. Right? It's very still crescent, but it's be able to cover that part. Subhanallah. It is time to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again, to remember Allah's creation again. Okay, so it is more of remembering Allah. This is the creation of Allah, whether it be the sun or the moon. There could be, you know, some ummah who may worship the sun, right, or the moon, but that doesn't qualify. And during long ago, people was trying to believe in sun, and then, hey, no, the sun doesn't stay, and what about the moon? The same thing, right? And we need to believe in someone, which is Allah, who stay there for us every time, and who make the sun and the moon come and go. Subhanallah. And you see that the corner around the sun area kind of goldenish, so that is because of the blockage of the sun by the moon. This is really astonishing. Subhanallah, subhanallah. I'm gonna make it a little more closer. Let's see. The solar eclipse this year makes it so special because of it is almost coincided with the end of the Ramadan, and today is the 29th night, and tomorrow is going to be the 30th, and the Eid will be a day after tomorrow, subhanallah, here around the Washington area. So Eid will be, inshallah, on Wednesday. So for those of you who just joined us, we are watching the solar eclipse from Washington, D.C. And the solar eclipse peak is already gone, which was 3:15 or 15 minutes before. Right now it's 3:30 local time here, 3:30 p.m. local time. We are watching the eclipse again as recommended. Please do not use any direct eye to watch this eclipse. You have to make sure you use it through recommended eyeglass. Okay. Now take a look at the difference. Right? And for those of you who just joined us, we are watching the solar eclipse, which is the peak was 87%. It was around 3:15 p.m. here in local time in Washington, D.C. It's around 3:30 p.m. So the peak is down. So for by now, the eclipse is going to get down and down further. Okay, it's going to continue until 4 p.m. by the way. For the next 30 minutes, it will continue, but the peak is already covered. And this solar eclipse has really happened when the moon became in front of the sun. You know, the sun is stationed where it's supposed to be, and it's just directly passing its light to the earth. But sometimes when this happen, eclipse happen when the moon become in between the earth and also the sun. And at that time, there will be a partial coverage. And the moon is so small in compared to the sun, but it will cover some part. And now where you located, you may not see this eclipse, right? It's because it's the sun, the moon is not as such big. You don't see like the whole world being covered. It's just gonna cover partly. And there is a map which you can see Washington, D.C., Maryland, Texas being the highest, and there was a lot of tourists being flocking to that area. Texas is one of the states here in Washington, in USA. It's one of the states. A lot of people been there to watch the solar eclipse. And I believe a year ago it was happened somewhere in Africa, and it do happen somewhere as well like this. And whenever it happens, people try to flock there and, you know, get this eyeglass that can protect you from the directly seeing the sun, because that might damage your sensitive eye, subhanallah. So you have to make sure. All right, so the peak is almost down. We are about to end as well this live session here. It's coming directly from the Washington, D.C. Subhanallah. I want to say thank you so much for joining us, everybody. This is so amazing. Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For those of you who just joined us, we are watching live the solar eclipse from the Washington DC. For those of you who just joined us, we are watching the solar eclipse 2024. Now, what happened during an eclipse is when the moons pass directly between the sun and the earth. There will be a complete blockage when the sunlight on one side casting a shadow on the small area of the earth. Okay, this is going to happen in a small area portion of the earth. It wouldn't be because the earth is big and the sun is big as well, but the moon compared is kind of small. But when it becomes in between, there will be a darkness in some part of the earth. Now that dark inner part is called umbra, U-M-B-R-A, it's called umbra. That shadow creates a narrow path as the moon orbits the earth, right? So that umbra will create that shadow path. Now as the area on that path fall directly under the shadow, you will witness a total eclipse. Okay, specifically if you see that this total eclipse could happen on some area, so under that area, then you will witness that total eclipse. Okay, where you specifically the umbra is where you have the total eclipse, total darkness, and some area, short area they can see or experience that umbra, full-scale shadow. But here in Washington DC, we only see 87%. Okay, it's not like 100%, but we are only experiencing 87% of the coverage, which is not too low as well, but that's what it is here. There's also some area which the area where it can get much lesser than the umbra, which is the full shadow is the umbra, and there is less shadow area, which is a partial shadow. Like similarly with 87, what we are here is that one is called penumbra. Okay, P-E-N-U-B-R-A, penumbra, you call that penumbra. Interesting. Okay, and this is again, it's not associated with anything, it just similar like the day and night. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changing for us the day and night, and it's gonna happen when the moon is becoming in between the sun and also the earth. You don't need to feel anything. What you need to do is you just need to pray a two rak'ah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember Allah. This is like a call prayer, right? It's like a zan. Subhanallah, subhanallah. Subhanallah, subhanallah. So that concludes today's session. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We are 87% of the eclipse coverage, 87, and now the peak is down. As you can see, the sun is more now coming, inshallah, and then in some area you might see more. Barakallahu fikum for joining us, and if you are new to the Alaikum, Worahmetulahi, Woberekatuh.